Americans are feeling the unity here at the fair, the same cannot be said of the Democratic Party as another Mamdani-backed socialist eyes a primary win in Colorado tomorrow, and the socialist mayor vows we're just getting started.
After his endorsed candidates swept their Democratic congressional primaries, New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani says his Democratic socialist positions can win over voters nationally.
Can a Democratic socialist get elected president?
I think a Democratic socialist can get elected anywhere across this country for any position. What I think we need to bring is a focus on working people.
And that's the direction that the party should go in terms of selecting a candidate for 2028.
I think the direction that the party should go in is how best to fight for working people. I think we need to have a platform and a vision that doesn't sound as if it was cooked up by consultants, but instead one that you would say in response to someone who's asking, why can't I afford my rent? Why can't I afford my groceries? Why can't I afford my childcare? We need to make clear who we stand for, how we're going to stand for them, and that we're actually willing to fight for them when the going gets tough.
Democratic discontent. People in the party not so happy with the party, including its leaders. Listen to Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
We need new leadership in the White House, the House, and the Senate. And on both sides of the aisle, that includes Democrats. If people can't understand that the game has fundamentally changed and they can't adapt, then they need to let others lead.
Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of The Conservative Libertarian. Alright, what is good, guys? We are back with another episode, right? Alright, we gotta make this one pretty quick. Got things I gotta do. But we're here to talk about the Democrats and how they are panicking. They are panicking. We have a lot of Democrats coming out and, they're actually disavowing the DSA, which is, surprising. I knew there would be some, sane Democrats out there, but I didn't think there was many. So we're going to watch Abby Phillips and her panel talk about the rise of socialism and how this could be bad for their party. Schumer is, not really favorable right now. He's not really liked. I'm saying? Neither is Hakeem Jeffries, Timu Obama. He's not very liked either. I'm telling you, these guys are going to lose their fucking jobs, and they don't even see it coming.
Socialism movement that helped give rise to Trump and MAGA is now apparently taking over the Democratic Party establishment. Liberals are in shock after a wave of wins by socialists all across America, whether in mayoral races or in House primaries.
Understand, these people do not like Democrats. Not only are they not Democrats, they wish Democrats poorly. I'm done. I'm not in a political party.
Socialists are socialists. They should form their own party. They try to crash our party, the Democratic Party.
We have literally found ourselves in a situation where we just don't have people who understand the moment and understand what leadership means.
It is one of those moments where it feels like, we're in the shoehorn phase of this thing where all of the plot lines are converging. And it's also at the same time upside down world in which, Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly are throwing Trump under the bus, and the Democratic Party is infighting with itself. Is this just where we are 10 years into, this new era of Trump and Trumpism?
I mean, I think the Democratic Party.
Nothing against Abby Phillips, but is she pregnant? I'm not trying to be like that. Like, what I'm saying? I was just, looking at her and I was like, dang, she, I don't remember her being this big. Is that just me? Or I must be tripping, right? I don't watch CNN that often, so I don't actually know, how, big she is, but she looks pregnant. She looks like she got a man or something. To the discussion at hand, Democrats, they are in some trouble, right? They're in some trouble. Now, we could talk about MAGA all day. MAGA, like I said, there's people, you got Tucker Carlson, you got Candace Owens, you got Megyn Kelly, you got all these different people who once supported Trump, who are no longer really in the camp. They kind of still piggyback off the motion and the movement of what MAGA was when it was coming up. So like I said, I really don't like listen to those people, and I don't like take them as credible sources or like high information. Candace Owens, she does pretty good investigating investigational journalism, right? She does a lot of good stuff of that. But like Megyn Kelly, I mean, like I might see her every once in a while, and then Tucker Carlson, I don't watch him completely because he's just, anti-Israel. Like that's mostly what his channel is. But you might as well, if you're watching Tucker Carlson, you might as well be watching like Myron Gaines, like, you know what I'm saying, or like Ben Shapiro. Like they're damn near the same people.
Is ripe for this to happen. I honestly, this is exhausting. I think that the people are trying to tell the Democratic establishment, the Democratic leadership over and over again, that they want to have representatives who represent them and not billionaires and not lobbyists and not centrist, middle of the aisle people, that they're watching what's happening to their country, they don't like it, and they're looking for fighters. So if the fighters happen to come from the Democratic Socialist team when they're in New York, if they happen to come from somewhere else when they're in Virginia, then those are the people that people are going to vote for. And I think the Democratic establishment is freaking out, but I don't think the Democratic voter is. I think the Democratic voter is quite excited that we're finally seeing people with a fight. And I think that
she means herself. She means herself, actually. You can when they're talking, you need to be able to like understand their passion for this stuff. Like they really, really want this to happen. AOC, Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom. Even though Gavin Newsom isn't a socialist, he, like I say, if you watch my video, he just plays nice with these people and he bends the knee a lot to these freaks, right? So, what I'm saying, I would not put it past Gavin Newsom to give a full-blown throated endorsement to any socialist that were to pop up within, his city. I'm surprised he hasn't, or his state. I'm surprised he hasn't, endorsed anyone on the mayoral level, Nithya Raman or Karen Bass. He stayed pretty separated from that. But what I'm assuming what he's doing is he's waiting to see what the turnout is, because if the turnout is that socialists win that city, right, win LA, right, that is a signal to him that he needs to start being more aligned with the socialists rather than trying to stay a progressive, somewhat moderate.
it's not far left. This idea that it's far left for us to have some form of universal health care. That's not far left. We're having the World Cup right now. Every single country in the World Cup has universal health care except us.
Yeah, and if you look at those countries, they're damn near unlivable. Like the UK, you can't even have an AC unit. You know what I'm saying? They are green everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Electric cars, electric fucking buses, electric, scooters, bikes. Like, they don't allow you to, like unless it's for, schools or, humanitarian things, you know what I'm saying? They're not gonna, allow you to just sit here and use your AC, especially when it's, scalding heat in the UK. So that's the radical part about it. They're trying to sell you on something that they're trying to make it seem like, oh, it's possible. We just have to spend the money. But it's like, do you not know you just can't print money? Like, it takes money to print money. So if you're printing trillions of dollars, you're then you're then putting the money within a circular loop, which inevitably is going to lower the value of the dollar because you're constantly just printing the money, which if you're printing the money at a rapid pace, then the dollar is going to slowly evaporate. And then we're going to eventually put ourselves into a situation where inflation just gets out of control, and then our borrowing power and our buying power has no value. They are talking about economic collapse. It just sounds like that, the way how when they start bringing up all these different things, that just sounds like cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. It's not going to be as cheap as people think it's going to be.
That's not a far left position. That's a pretty general world position. It's not far left to be able to say, I want to work a job and be able to afford a place to live and food. It's not far.
That's not crazy, but the crazy part is to think that you're going to be able to have it all. You can't have it all. And I don't think these people understand. You just can't have it all. There has to be a give and take. There has to be a sacrifice in something, in life in general. When you listen to it and they try to tell you how they're going to do it, it just sounds ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous, and it sounds like we can't afford it. And then they'll never address the fact that we are 38 trillion, probably 39, maybe even more than that, in debt. What are you going to do to solve that first? What are you going to do to solve our financial crisis that's going on right now in the country? What are you going to do to solve that? They have no answer for that. None.
Left, right, to say that you want to stay home with your baby when they're born and take care of them and have paid family leave and affordable school when they are grown up. That's not far left. That is pretty standard for the rest of the world.
It's Sure, but those are not the positions I think necessarily being causing these people to be characterized.
Exactly. They're not even for real talking about that type of stuff. A lot of it is anti-Israel stuff. They'll say they want affordable healthcare for housing and stuff like that, but it's like taxing millionaire, like all it is just a bunch of just nonsense. Like none of this is actually going to solve any of the actual issues that people are dealing with when you're not actually tackling them head on. You're just, like I said, a lot of these stuff that they're trying to do is put a band-aid on it and then just spend more money and spend more money, and then hope the problem gets fixed, when you just can't spend money into oblivion to solve an issue. It does not work that way.
It's a lot of the other stuff.
What other stuff?
Let's eliminate prisons.
Let's eliminate prisons. Let's seize.
There's a lot of other stuff, and frankly, some of it is
let's say what they
random.
are. Let's seize the property from landowners, quote unquote. Let's eradicate America, quote unquote.
Look at her nodding her head.
America's streets, quote unquote. This is not me just making this up. This is in writing, and these are the candidates who are winning elections in this country, and it's not just New York City.
No, it's not candidates. You're naming 3 candidates, but you're particularly naming the words from one candidate.
Who said that Zionists did the Bondi Beach massacre. He's in Pennsylvania. Let's do Graham Plattner, who has said a lot of things, including the fact that I am a communist, quote unquote, in writing. This is a national phenomenon now on the left. And one of the things that I see now from Democrats, and I love that montage, there are a lot of Democrats who are trying to push back and take their party back. But I see Cory Booker, I see Chris Van Hollen, I see Chris Murphy making their accommodations with their new socialist overlords and saying, listen, this is where the party is going to go. So yeah, if they were going to show any backbone, any instinct towards self-preservation, they would have looked at the DSA when it attacked the Democratic National Committee in November of 2023 violently. Representative from Illinois, Sean Casten, said we were rescued by police, and it could have been much worse. If the Democratic Party had any instinct to self-preservation, they would have said, listen, these people want to do us physical harm. They do not belong in our party. You're comfortable with it. I wouldn't be. They're coming for you too.
Yeah, she doesn't even understand that that's happening, that's going to be a thing for her too as well too. Like I said, they don't understand that they will eat their own, you know what I'm saying? If you're even the slightest bit not aligned with them, bro, you're done for it, bro. Like, these people are ridiculous. And it shows with a lot of these Democrats who are in office right now who are bending the knee to these socialists, bro. It's ridiculous. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We do this shit every day. So yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.